Hey everyone, welcome to webinar number 3. Today I'm going to be going through something that's kind of abstract and different. I've never come across any content like this. Just comes out of a passion that I have of obviously e-commerce, marketing, but as well mixed with just history and some of the books that I've read around ancient Chinese philosophy, ancient philosophies, things like that. If you remember, I think it was the first webinar where I talked about small business advantages. I talked about the art of war. Again, that's an example of that, just an interest in it. So anyway, let's get to it. This one hopefully isn't going to be too hard to understand. I'm going to try to make it really simple, but it is something that if you're really into, you're either going to hate it or you're going to love it. Hopefully you love it. Even if you hate it, maybe watch it a second time, pause more. Maybe I might go too fast. It's just, again, something really, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but let's get to it. So basically, actually, let me introduce basically what this is and why I want to do it. Ancient philosophies, just any philosophy, if it's something really truly, if it's true, then it applies to many things. And the yin and yang is probably something everybody here is aware of. It's that symbol, the circle symbol with like a black section and a white section. There's a little bit of white in the black, and there's a little bit of black in the white. So that's the yin yang symbol. It's a very universally known symbol. And really the whole thing about that is that there's good and bad, not really necessarily good and bad, but there's light and dark and everything. There's ups and downs and everything. That principle applies to so many things. And I wanted to take a stab at interpreting it from my own view into e-commerce sales and online sales. So let's do that. So I say 20 minutes, but honestly, it'll probably be at least 30 based on the kind of content it is. So the agenda basically is we'll talk about what is the I-Ching. The I-Ching is basically just this framework. It's basically this book called the Book of Change, and it's really the study of the changing of studying the states of change and the changes and states of all living things and all of nature and all of the universe. Then I'll talk about specifically what the I-Ching, the building blocks of this framework, which is the Yin and Yang symbols. And then after that, we'll go into exactly what this means for e-commerce, talking about how putting together these Yin and Yang concepts gives us 4 customer stages, and how we should approach each one of those stages and where we should focus. Excuse me. Cool. So what is the I-Ching? So the I-Ching was a book that was written 3,000 years ago. It's considered one of the oldest ever recorded books that's still kind of in circulation. And it was highly regarded by the elders back in the day. If you consider this whole mythical kind of thing, it was very highly regarded source of wisdom for these people. And basically what the I-Ching does is it breaks down its lessons into these 8 trigrams. And they use these 8 trigrams to understand the different stages of life, right? Each stage could be something like nature, the changing of the seasons, right? There's summer, fall, winter, spring, summer, fall, winter, spring. Just like day and night, there's morning, noon, afternoon, evening, night, morning, afternoon, evening, night, and it kind of goes that way. And it's the same thing even with human life. You're born, teenage years, you get into your prime, and then you start going to the Middle Ages, and then you regress until your death. And again, it's the same thing of how all things work. And so basically the idea is that if this is really the way that all things work, wouldn't it also affect even the smaller things in life? And so that's kind of, I wanted to apply this to e-commerce, just put 2 of my interests together. So bear with me. So first, what we're going to do is we're basically just going to get a quick recap of what the yin and yang is. So the yin is basically this symbol where it's a broken line. It's basically a line just like yang, except it's got a break in the middle. What yin represents is just this emptiness. It's this passiveness. The student is in yin. The moon is in yin because it takes light and it reflects it. It doesn't make its own light. It only reflects light. The nighttime is yin. It is basically the winter could be considered yin, where nothing really grows, but instead it's trying to survive and it kind of recludes in itself and becomes very introspective. So that's the yin energy. Basically, it's this empty energy, emptiness. And the yang is one of fullness and brightness and light and sun and summer and growth, things like that. That's what the yang represents, and it's represented by this straight line. So in our context, let's put aside the passive emptiness and active fullness for a sec, and let's think about it from what it means in the state of a customer's interest in a product's benefits. So we're going to go with yin being just like, again, indifferent to, empty to, passive to any product's benefits. And yang is, again, an active fullness and excitement of a product's benefits. So basically, it's like a customer, whether they're excited about a product or they're not excited about a product. So we'll look at the yin and yang in that concept, in that construct. So keep that in mind as we go into the rest of the lesson. Sweet. So this is what a trigram looks like. It's made up of 3 of the yin and yang bars. In our case here, we have 1 yin at the bottom and then 2 yangs on top of that. And the 3 represent many things. They can represent, if you really want to get down a rabbit hole, you can think about the Holy Trinity and just the power of the triangle and the power of just the symbol of what power of 3 means. But in our case, we're going to look at it from the past, present, and future. There's many ways to look at the 3. You can look at it in a lot of different ways. Like it could be like solid, liquid, gas. That's another way to look at it. There's so many things. I'm not going to go into it. But one of the common frameworks that it's looked at, or the common lens that it's looked through, is the one of time. So past, present, and future. And we look at the trigram starting from the bottom to the top. So we look at past first, then present, then future. And that's how we're going to think about our trigrams and our customer's state of mind when they're looking at on your website. So just going to dive in, basically, rip the Band-Aid rip it off real fast. Don't be too intimidated by this. We'll go through this step by step. But basically, if you can follow this spectrum, right? If you can see the spectrum, it follows the seasons, right? You have that first section here. You might have spring. You have summer, fall, winter, spring, right? And the cycle continues. Same thing with the sun, right? Sun comes up, sun comes down, and it's nighttime here, and then again, sun comes up. Same thing with life, like we talked about. So there's this pattern. Think of this visual as that pattern. And then looking at the trigrams down here, this is where we're looking at that interest. So remember how we talked about this is an indifference to, and this is the excitement of. This is the excitement of, and this is the indifference to. So if we look here, in this case, we would see this one would be indifferent, right? This one would be excitement, and this one would be excitement. So basically, in this context, if we're looking at this would be a customer that didn't care before, but now they're pretty excited about it, and they anticipate to continue to be excited about it. So this is what we'll go into what category this customer is in a sec, but that's the way to look at this. It's this customer in the past, maybe yesterday, maybe a year ago, maybe a month ago. They didn't care about your product. They didn't see the need for it. And so they didn't care, and obviously they might have either stopped going or they left, or they just weren't kind of into it for whatever reason. Or they might not even have been on your website. They're just something like, oh, interesting. Let's say there's a car. You know what? I don't need a car, so I'm not going to look around for one. But then maybe a few months later, now it's like, okay, shoot, I need one to get to work. So now I need to go and get one. And I anticipate that I'll probably continue to keep needing one. So yeah, probably I need to go get a car. So that, if that kind of explains a little bit to you. Same thing with fashion. Fashion is actually really interesting because the future is different with fashion, but it could be that, yeah, you know what? I'm not really into leather jackets. I'm all about the environment. So you know what? I'm not going to wear any leather. maybe something happens and you stop caring about animals and you're like, you know what, a leather jacket would look really cool. And, you know, you might think, wait, maybe they go out of style, but maybe they don't. And you don't know, again, that's that question. But we're going to try to understand some of these questions that customers might be thinking, something that they subconsciously might be going through this pattern, these stages of changes. So first of all, a really, really good yes customer would be, obviously all three would look straight, right? I used to be excited about it. I'm excited about it now, and I'm probably going to continue to be excited about it. That's a great person to get on your website because most likely they'll buy, they're in the market, good product market fit. Looking later, this customer over here might be like, you know what, I didn't really think that I needed it. I still don't care for it. I don't think I need it, but maybe I'll need it in the past, who knows? In the future, sorry, who knows? So maybe they're, that way you can see they're kind of turning into from a no customer to a maybe yes customer, because now they're like, oh, maybe I'll need it in the future. So they're kind of changing to be more about, yes, I do need it. And then you see again, they're in the maybe yes category here where they, again, didn't think they needed it, but now they think they need it. They're maybe still on the fence about the future, but they think they need it today. And then obviously that graduates to, both, needing it, knowing that you need it now and knowing that you'll need it in the future. So let's actually get our hands dirty with this. So basically, I explained this already, but this basically shows that this first category of customers are your yes customers. Now we're going into 4 categories of 4 and not 8, just because 8 would become very abstract and I think would become too open to debate about what exactly is the difference between a 2 and a 3 and a 3 and a 4 and a 4 and a 5. So we're just going to kind of group 1s and 2s together as a yes, 3s and 4s as a maybe no, 5 and 6 as a no, and then 7 and 8 as a maybe yes. So here as a yes, we have, again, in the past, they knew that oh man, I need this product. I've been thinking about this product. I've had this problem for a while. I need this product. And today thinking, yeah, you know what? I still have this problem. I need this product. And in the future being, yeah, you know what? I know I'm going to continue needing it. This is a great product market fit. This is actually the product that I believe this is the category I believe my product falls into, which is the bidets, because the customers that I sell it to just, expect and want a higher standard of hygiene in the bathroom. And so they're a great customer and I have that product market fit. I know it. That's why my conversion rates are pretty high. And I don't need to really focus too much on driving traffic because the word of mouth is also high as a result. But anyway, basically I'm not going to go into the future state too much because again, the future state is that third state where the difference between 1 and the 2. Because again, we talked about how this is past, present, and future, right? So if you notice here, the past and present is same for both 1 and 2. It'll be the same for both 3 and 4 as well, and 5 and 6, and 7 and 8. So that's where we'll group them together. I'm not going to focus too much on the future element because again, that adds another layer of complexity. So we'll just focus on the past and present in terms of a customer's state of mind. So in this example, I've used the painkillers example. Like painkillers, you can think of it as literally, but you could also think of a product that actually solves a big pain point for a customer. It could be like a bidet, could be a pain. Obviously, painkillers themselves are pain. Things like toilet paper, you need, right? Things like battery chargers, cables, things that you need, basic electronics like televisions, microwaves, things like that. You've needed in the past, you're going to continue needing it, and probably you'll need in the future. So there's a clear product market fit for these types of products. And so as long as you're targeting the customer at the right time and your customer is coming to you at the right time, likely the customer will buy. If there isn't any issue with the quality, if there isn't any issue with the price, and they don't have any issue with trusting your brand, it's most likely that they will buy. And then your focus for these cases needs to be on, targeting the right customer at the right time, making sure that your trust is there and that you earn that trust, and making sure that your prices are competitive and that your service is really good, your quality is really good. So as long as you have those things, that's how you will succeed if a lot of your customers fit kind of this type of state of mind on your store. Next up, we'll skip right straight to the no, because we want to kind of get that out of the way. But a no customers, again, these are customers that didn't care about your product in the past. They know they've never really had a product or a problem or a need, a want or a need for your product. And they don't need it today either. And they don't think of it as needing it today either. So I'm just going to move this forward a little bit because of the light. There we go. Okay. Sorry, bear with me. Okay, I think we're good. So basically, an example of a product here might be like an alarm clock. I mean, yeah, everybody needs an alarm clock, but all of our phones already have one. So it's not likely that someone's going to go out and purchase an alarm clock unless, it's probably very rare. That's just an example, right? It's a product that nobody really even needs. And so, if you might be in this category if you're trying to sell, maybe if you're drop shipping from AliExpress, you think you have a really cool product, but you're not making any sales, you have a really, 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 really low conversion rate, you're driving tons and tons of traffic, but no one's buying. This might be a sign that your products are not, in demand. There's not really a market for your product. So if you're doing that, you might be in this category where your customers are mostly in this no category. And again, to convert people like this, it's really, really hard. Even if you're adding things like trust badges and urgency pop-ups and exit pop-ups and the spinning wheel, get a discount code by spinning this wheel and playing this game. Like, you could add literally every single one. You're probably hurting yourself by adding all of them. And actually, in fact, you are hurting yourself by adding more than one of those things. But it's not going to help you. Even if you just had one, it's not going to help you. Because again, there's no real need for the customer. Right? Next up, let's get to the maybe no. So again, we've gone from a customer who thinks, yes, I need this product. Now it's like, well, maybe I don't need it, right? It's that cycle of going from yep to, you know what, let me think about that. So that's this maybe no category. And you're going to have customers that will fit this because they might think, oh yeah, I needed this in the past. I knew, oh man, I needed a product like this. This is great, because it solves my problem. But I don't know, maybe it won't really solve the problem, or maybe, my attitude towards this situation has changed a little bit and I don't think I need it anymore. Maybe I can do without, hey, I've gone this long without it. I think I'll be fine without it. That's the state of mind that this customer is in now. And a good example is things like clothing. Just because, you think something looks cool, you're like, oh man, I'd love to have that. And then maybe you're out shopping, you're like, you know what? I look fine. My wardrobe's fine. I think I don't need to spend this money right now. And that's something that happens in clothing, not just clothing, but it happens for a lot of different businesses. Again, it's the maybe no comes from things like size or return questions or how quickly shipping might be. That's another big one. What exactly am I going to be getting if I buy this online? So maybe you want an unboxing video for that. But basically what the customer might do here is abandon their cart, or maybe even abandon their checkout. They might click add to cart, but then they're like, you know what, I don't need it, and then close off. If you're lucky, they'll fill in their information and then abandon, so that hopefully if they do that, you can at least call back to do that. One of the things that we built, actually, because like I said, a lot of my customers for my store were in that yes category. Again, I was seeing there's obviously people that are in the maybe no, because like, oh, well, I've gone this far without it, maybe I actually don't need one, which I found a lot of my customers were in. So what I did was to capture those people that didn't click add to cart, or maybe just clicked add to cart, was to also offer a second button, which was request a callback. Talk to the owner, talk to the installer, talk to the developer. And they just click it, type in their phone number, I would get a message, and then I would call them back right away, because I knew that, hey, these guys are interested. These guys are on the maybe no, but they're yes, but maybe no. So these are the people I want to talk to. So that's actually how we built Raven, the callback app. It's in the App Store. You can check it out if you haven't already checked it out. It's a really cool app. It's helping a lot of stores that are similar to mine. Just any store that has high average order value, or a product that fits this type of a maybe I don't need it type of a category. And it's actually doing really well, because once you talk to that customer, once a customer talks to you and you're the merchant, and they kind of learn about you and they understand that, hey, you can solve their problem, they trust you, then you have a really high chance of closing that sale. Okay, next up, the maybe yes customers. So these are customers that were going from, no, I don't need it, to like, you know what, maybe I do need it. Maybe I do need it. And they didn't think they needed it before, but now they kind of think they need it, and they're excited about the benefits. And this is obviously a better place to be than obviously the no, because these customers could actually end up becoming, I believe, your most loyal customers, right? Customers that didn't think they needed your product, but then they think, you know what, actually, I think I do need it. So if they're that type of customer and you provide a really, really good post-sale experience, let's say your shipping is like, you upgrade their shipping and now they got 1-day shipping, that's gonna make them feel really good. Oh, wow. Send them a handwritten thank you note, send them a call or an SMS just to say thank you, a personal thank you, email them even maybe, sending them a free pizza through Pizza Party, one of our other apps, something to just really show them that you cared and that you're excited to service them and you're excited for them to continue being a customer. That's gonna make them to stay in the yes category. Because now it's like, I had doubts, but I gave them a chance, and actually they delivered on my chance. They delivered, they returned, my trust. I kind of took a chance on them, and they did what they were going to do, and the service was great. Okay, cool. Now I trust them, and now you've developed a loyal customer. So I love this kind of story. I love these products that have a lot of maybe yes customers, because I think there's a lot of opportunity for these businesses to create like long-term customer relationships. And again, like an action that these guys might take might be to embed in their checkout. So that's why it's important to kind of just reach out. So to recap, basically, we have this change of a customer's mindset of whether they think they need to buy this product or not, where they are in that customer journey, in that purchasing mentality. And again, like I said, a yes, really, you don't need these conversion rate optimization things. You don't need things like that. You just need to get the basics right, and you'll probably make the sale. Don't really worry too much on that. If you have a lot of customers in the no category, again, there's very, very little you can do about that. You might want to look at adding new products or creating a new brand, something like that. But it's the maybe no and the maybe yeses that you want to focus your time on, right? The one-on-one time, the time that you have talking to customers, you want to focus on the maybe no's and the maybe yeses. And again, going back, this is why we built Scout. So if you're not already using Scout, Scout will identify who these people are because they've abandoned their checkout, right? Or the new customers. They're maybe yes customers that became new customers. So again, check out Scout if you're not already doing it. It's a great way to understand whether you have product market fit or not, and what's missing for me to really achieve that awesome product market fit. So yeah, focus on the maybes, focus on the maybe no's and the maybe yeses, and you will have a successful business. So next up, this is another, the next one we're doing is we're going to be talking about the 4 steps in your visitor's decision-making process. We talked about these 4 steps in the different stages. But then once a customer decides that, yes, they do want to buy, there's actually 4 steps after that. So that's a pretty interesting one as well. It's one of my favorite kind of things to learn about. It's using the OODA loop that was developed by John Boyd. This guy, John Boyd, was credited for introducing the art of war to the US Air Force. So basically the guy who took this book and gave it to the US Air Force for the first time back in, I think this was in the 60s that he did this, and how that changed, obviously, the U.S. military forever after that. But basically, it's a framework that he developed called the OODA loop, which is a decision-making framework, which I'm going to apply similarly like what I did in this webinar, but apply it to a customer's decision-making process once they've decided that they do need this product. So check that one out. Cool. I'm going to sign out. Thanks for your time. Tell your friends. Use Scout, use Raven, use Pizza Party, and let me know what you think about it. Let me know how you like it. Bye.